still me.
Burntrap was a massive character in Security Breach and one of the hidden endings, but is completely missing and absent in the entirety of Security Breach's Ruin. Like, where is he? Did he disappear? Did he just poof from existence? Did he escape the Pizzaplex? Is the ending even canon, or is he something else entirely, like the Mimic? Well, I have the answer to all them questions.
After being trapped in a suit, escaping those fires, and even the digital hell, I always come back!
Now, one of the most popular theories on the internet at the moment is that Mimic is actually Burntrap. Now, this theory, if you haven't heard it, is the one that the Mimic was actually existing in Security Breach and tried to make its way into Burntrap via his code and kind of took over his consciousness rather than his body. Now, there are several reasons as to why Burntrap is not the Mimic, and that also plays a part into why he's missing in Ruin, so hear me out. One of the main giveaways for me is the fact that his design is completely different to the Mimic. Take the eyes, for example. If the Mimic had taken over his being / presence / soul, why would he have William's glowing purple eyes? He wouldn't. He would have the Mimic's glossy white coloured eyes. The purple eyes and purple in itself is almost a trademark exclusively to William Afton. The second point being, if the Mimic was able to control William Afton, don't you think he would go for a more better animatronic? One that was actually fully functional and he could just leave with? It would make no sense for him to go with that animatronic with a corpse still inside. Further to this, that is not the Mimic's goal. The Mimic actually wants to get inside Cassie like Enna does with Mike in Sister location.
The scooper only hurts for a moment.
Because one of the endings in Ruin actually is the Mimic's ending, where you see Cassie on a hill and she says, "Gregory, I'm fine, I found a place to hide." That is actually, in fact, Mimic talking to Gregory, saying that they found a place to hide inside Cassie. Just like when Mike got scooped and Etten hid inside him. So already this theory that Burntrap is Mimic is not really making much sense. Well, you might be saying to yourself, well, that's all well and good, Twisty, but what has actually happened to Burntrap? This doesn't explain anything, so let me continue. Now, as I said earlier, Burntrap is featured in one of the endings where you see him, he comes out of a recharge station, you battle him as Gregory, he eventually gets burned in one of the rooms, the pizza box comes crashing down, he tries to follow you out, the Blob takes a hold of him, and Gregory and Freddy escape a crumbling / on fire pizzaplex. Now, there has not been any official statement on what the canon ending is for Security Breach, but a lot of people are in agreement that it is actually in fact the Princess Quest, and that has no mention of the Blob or Burntrap at all. But if you want to know all about the Princess Quest and how that features in this, check out one of my other videos because that is a lengthy breakdown in itself. So right, if we're saying the Princess Quest ending is the canon ending, that ending doesn't feature or mention Burntrap at all. So there's an argument to say that Burntrap just never existed? Now, as you remember, the Princess Quest ending essentially features Freddy, Gregory, and Vanessa escaping the Pizzaplex with Freddy as a head, with Vanessa being completely free of Glitchtrap's control. Now, there is definite proof to say that Burntrap did exist and was in Security Breach. Now, if you cast your minds back to one of the original trailers released for Security Breach, we actually hear William Afton, or an unknown voice, talking to Vanessa and another entity, and here it is.
When I first found you, you were nothing. You were small, pathetic. But now, you are more. Are you ready?
Then Vanessa speaks, then the unknown entity speaks again.
Gregory, we can get you out of here. You and me together. They won't stop hunting you. None of them will stop hunting you. We have to get you out by morning.
You will do as I say. You will bring me what I want. And if you fail me, then you will. Both of you burn!
I mean, listening to that, whose voice do you think that's going to be? William Afton's inside Burntrap, or Glitchtrap at that stage, essentially proving that Burntrap did exist. Now, you might actually say that that could be the Mimic pretending to be William Afton, but again, I will prove that wrong in just 1 second. Now, as we said earlier, a lot of people believe the ending with the Blob and Afton to not be canon and they never existed, but that cannot be true, because we also see the Blob become canon at the beginning of Ruin, where you see it escape the Pizzaplex. Hence, the Blob did exist. It was real. It was there. So does that mean Burntrap also existed and it was there somewhere? As it definitely now proves that the Blob was canon and was in the Pizzaplex, but that doesn't canonically prove if Burntrap was even there to even disappear in the first place, so let me continue. Now let's stay at the beginning of Ruin, where we see the blob disappear. There's a crucial bit of evidence here. Now if you look at the boarded up windows and what have you there, it's all boarded up with papers, and on one of these papers, it actually says that the Pizzaplex suffered an earthquake. Where do we see an earthquake with things collapsing? Well, the end of the Burntrap ending. Now, we've already seen the blob escape. Now we have confirmation that there was an earthquake, just like the Burntrap ending. All we need now is to see Burntrap appear to basically say that ending happened. And there's more evidence to support this, so let me continue. Now, as you know, in Ruin, we go down to the room where Gregory supposedly fought Burntrap in the Burntrap ending with the blob. You see the computer, you see the burn room with the burners and everything as if it took place. Now, we already know the blob was definitely there because we've seen it escape. So where the hell is Burntrap? Was he even there? Well, I believe he was, and I believe that ending did actually take place, along with the Princess Quest ending. People seem to think that just one ending happened, but what happens if it was a combination of multiple endings? Take the Princess Quest ending, for example. That is also a combination of two endings. If you've watched my other video, that will fully explain it. But the true ending could actually feature an amalgamation of both, and would make the most sense as to why we see the blob, why it actually says canonically that an earthquake happened at the Pizzaplex, why Vanny's mask was discarded and left on the floor for Cassie to find, because she escaped. The Princess Quest happened along with the Burntrap ending, but we're still left with the question, where is Burntrap? As you can tell, I get very excited by this, as that section, you can just tell, because we're getting to the final part. We're going to work out what actually happened. So let's say Gregory does free Vanessa from being Vanny and the corruption, then goes down into the depths of the old pizzeria, finds William Afton as Burntrap, defeats him and the blob. The Pizzaplex comes crumbling down because of this earthquake, and they escape. And how do I know that would have actually happened? Well, if you look in Ruin, you actually see Gregory's bag in that room, proving he's been down there. He's been there. That would tell me that he would have seen Burntrap alive as an entity, as himself. He would have defeated him and left. The proof is right there. Gregory has been to that room. Now, one could say he could have left and come back to deal with the mimic. But in doing so, wouldn't he have seen the blob and Burntrap / William Afton anyway? So whichever way you look at it, he would have seen the blob and Burntrap. But you might now also be thinking, well, he would have definitely seen the mimic because the mimic room is there. No, that is giving me more proof that the mimic is indeed Burntrap. Yada. No, let me just stop you there and let me explain. Burntrap and the mimic are definitely separate entities. Here's another reason as to why. During the ending of Ruin, we obviously see Cassie running from the mimic, and when she eventually gets to the elevator, Gregory tells Cassie that he has no idea what the mimic is.
I really don't know what it is, but it's been trapped down here a really long time.
Now, if he had gone down there to fight the mimic, he would have an idea as to what it is. He went down there to create the program NNEX and did not see the mimic because the mimic was already locked away, trying to get out via them programs. Hence why he created the MNEX to stop that from happening. He didn't actually physically see the mimic. Now, the obvious order this happens in is the fact that the Burntrap / blob ending happens, they leave the Pizzaplex with Vanessa, then they come back to deal with the mimic after the earthquakes, after everything else. So this now gives us all the information we need to finalize where Burntrap / William Afton is. Well, don't you think it's pretty obvious at this stage? We see the blob escape at the beginning of Ruin. That blob has absorbed William Afton. All our horrible essence absorbed into one massive blob, which is being fueled by anguish, hatred, the remnant. And now that blob is complete with William Afton's legacy, with his entire being, all our remnant infused into one big piece of hatred. That's where I think Burntrap went. That's why we don't see him in Ruin, because he's been amalgamated into the blob. Nice voice crack there, Twisty. But now that leaves us with another question. What's actually happened to Vanessa? And what did actually happen to Glamrock Freddy? Check out the video here if you want to know. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and hit that subscribe button for plenty more content like this coming up. I'm Twisty from Twisted Animatronic, and I'll catch all you superstars later.